Now on Radio 4, it's My Story. Tonight, the musician Tom Robinson examines what it's like to be bisexual in Britain today in Tom Robinson, Getting By.
At the age of 15, I suffered my first deep pangs of unrequited love. It was an experience that turned my world upside down because the object of my longing was another boy at school. I not unnaturally came to the conclusion that I was a homosexual, and nothing that happened in the next 10 years gave me any reason to doubt it. In my teens, I tried to hide my sexuality by dating girls. But in my 20s, I went to the opposite extreme and ended up quite literally making a song and dance about just how gay I was.
Sing if you're glad to be gay. Sing if you're happy that way. Hey, sing.
One difficulty in discussing the prevalence of bisexuality is that research is sparse, contradictory, and mostly focused on men. In 2005, a study of men in the US found no evidence of sexual attraction to both genders at all. But then another American study at the Northwestern University declared only last month that bisexuality among men does in fact exist. Well, any number of us could have told them that. And to try and find out how big a number, I visited a team carrying out one of the few UK studies into, once again, male bisexuality. Waiting for me at Bristol Templemead Station was a young man holding up a large sign that simply said, bisexual.
Yeah, they left me there with that bisexual sign to gauge the reactions of people coming out.
And what were they like?
Well, on the most part, wholly positive. We, had a few young people come out and they smiled at me, sort of asked if I was bisexual, and then an older guy came over and asked me if I was doing some kind of protest, something to do with Pride Week, because Bristol had its Gay Pride this week. And I said no, I said we were just waiting for you guys. It was just kind of not a big issue at all, really.
I think we should introduce ourselves to Eric. Eric, you're the man that put him up to it.
Indeed, yes. I'm Professor Eric Anderson at the University of Winchester, and I study sexualities, gender, and sport. We wanted to find what the experiences were of the average bisexual male. So what we did is we stood on street corners in Los Angeles, New York, and London, and we shouted out, we're doing academic research on bisexual men. And we found bisexual men, of course, from all three cities, who weren't part of the LGBT community. We found that the average bisexual male was actually in a heterosexual relationship. They may have had some gay friends. They may have been to gay clubs occasionally. But the reality is most of their lives were sort of in the heterosexual worlds.
You found in your studies, I think, that some men who didn't think they were bisexual, had any bisexual potential at all, actually did have that potential when it was pointed out to them. Could you tell us a little about that?
Their emotional relationships with other men, which they often privilege over their heterosexual relationships with their girlfriends. They call these bromances, sometimes a man crush. But these were men who were saying that my best friend, he comes first. Like, girls will come and go, but my best friend will stay.
That's kind of Bruce Springsteen territory, though, isn't it? Me and my buddy versus the girls come and go.
You must have been in the music industry.
You could say that.
And I think then perhaps there's a return to that. But yes, these men would say that, look, part of sexuality isn't just what you're sexually attracted to, but what you're emotionally attracted to as well. And they would say, I'm emotionally attracted to guys, therefore part of me must be bisexual, even though publicly they wouldn't describe themselves as bisexual to their friends.
Assisting Professor Anderson in his research are Matt, who's 21 and cheerfully straight, plus Max, who's 19 and glad to be gay. And they've become the best of friends.
We've recently spent two weekends away, was it? This month already, once when we went to Canal Street and he did all the gay stuff and I just tagged along and saw him do whatever he wanted to do. And then we also went to London for a conference there and we stayed in the same bed and nothing happened at all. It was just two guys who get along so much and there is love between us in the fact that it is a pure brotherhood, if you could call it that. But there's no sexual desires for myself at all. So I can definitely understand as bisexuality in myself in the fact that sexuality is definitely mixed up with love and it really isn't as simple as we make out.
We did share a kiss in Manchester.
We did share a kiss in Manchester, it was very true. And the funny thing is these pictures go on Facebook. These are not something that my generation fears at all. If I kiss any of my friends, gay, straight or bi or whoever, they all go on Facebook. And if you look through any 16 to 24-year-olds' Facebook photos, you will easily see lots of pictures of him kissing his mates.